Hi, Marty Wynn here with Sleep Intermission. Um, we are on number 3, and that's pretty exciting. Thank you for watching and subscribing, so at least then you get to hear and see what I deal with on a daily basis. I'm going to introduce myself a little more professionally right now. My name is Marty Wynn. I am a college professor. And at this point in time, I am actually taking a slight sabbatical just to kind of slow things down a little bit. I will, which I'm sure you've already picked up on, sleep intermission. Sleep this time right now is when my 2-year-old takes a nap, and intermission is a break for me. So, just a little bit about me. I actually am an academic doctor, have my second master's in health, wellness, and counseling, and I have taught various different classes at community colleges. I taught at a university for about 9 years, have taught hybrid classes and, whatever they've needed. My Mainly my career has been evolving around and rotating around education. I taught K through 12 for about 6 years, and then moved up to Wisconsin for a job offer, and I was teaching bachelor's classes in business, and slowly migrated towards my teaching master's classes in organizational behavior / effectiveness. And I really did enjoy that, but at the same time, wasn't really getting the time into it that I wanted. So, want to talk a little bit about what I do as far as in what I do here now. I am actually, as I said, taking a break for a little bit, and I had students after student after student that was contacting me saying, why is it when we have you in class, or when we have you in class online, after you teach, we don't hear anything about you or see you? And I said, well, that's usually how it goes. Once the class is over, it's over. And they said, yeah, but we don't like that. Okay, well, I'm doing this for you, and I'm doing this for my friends, and I'm doing this for my family. First of all, happy Mother's Day, belated Mother's Day to everyone out there. It was a good day as far as getting to spend time with my sons. And if you haven't realized or recognized yet, I have 4 sons. I have a 27-year-old. I have a 24-year-old. I have a 21-year-old. And I have a 2-year-old. And anyone who just said, wow, you're not saying anything that I did not already say. Because first of all, I was told I couldn't do that anymore. And evidently someone had other plans for me. So he's here, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about him and how I found out about him and how it changed our lives a lot. And first of all, I went into the doctor to have some tests run because I was having some symptoms and didn't know what they were. And I was nervous. I felt like I was 17 again and didn't know what was going on, and really confused. And I'm not usually confused. But they asked me to give them a urine test, and that was one of the hardest tests I'd taken in a long time, just for the fact that I wasn't really sure what we were looking for. But I finally got a specimen for them and come out, and they set me in an office, and the doctor came in and asked me how I'd been feeling, and I said, okay, other than fact just having some odd symptoms and erratic, things going on. And she said, you haven't been sick, you haven't been tired? Or I said, no, no. I said, just trying to work and teach class and just trying to figure out what's going on. And she said, well, you've got 2 lines. I said, which means what? Because I always had a doctor tell me when things were going on, or when I was pregnant. And she said, well, she said, you're positive. I said, good grief, for what? And she said, well, you're pregnant. And I slipped into the deepest fog and thought I had stepped into the twilight zone. and I was supposed to be meeting my husband down the road for lunch, and I didn't know what to say or do. And they asked me if I was okay, and I said, yeah. And they said, do you need to talk to anyone, or, do you need someone to talk to you about your options? And I said, well, if I'm pregnant, I'm having a baby, and I have to be honest. I have to be so honest. My husband was blowing up my phone and texting me and calling me, and I told them I was not leaving that office until I had a blood test. And they said, well, the urine test is about 98.6% effective. And, it's pretty on task. And I said, well, you know what? I'm not real sure I put enough urine in that cup to constitute it was urine, let alone pregnancy. And I said, I need someone to order me a blood test. You can't come in here and rock my world like this without a blood test. And they looked at me and said, okay, we can do that. And I looked at them, and they said, oh, you mean now? I said, yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. And went down, and my husband's still pursuing me, thinking that I'd fell into some kind of time warp or black hole. And actually, I was getting blood drawn. And, I have all these young physician assistants and nursing assistants that are excited, and there's like, oh, this is exciting, and when you find out what the sex is, you're gonna have to let us know, because I heard you have 3 boys. And I just sit there looking at them. I said, and they're standing there full-fledged pregnant, within like a month or 2, and I'm thinking, gosh, I've already been through all this. I'm not sure if I'm up for this again. And I went down on the elevator to leave, contemplating maybe just skipping town. I'm just going to skip town, because I wasn't real sure. I wasn't real sure of what to think, because it was such a shock to have someone tell me another baby. And then I'm thinking, oh, I don't want to really tell my husband that either, because we had all these plans. Our kids were just now out of school, and we get to play now. And I come off the elevator, and I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I'm just gonna get in the car and drive. I don't know. I was supposed to meet him, but maybe I was telling him I'm not feeling very well, and skip lunch. And when I come off the elevator, he was there, and he got a hold of my sleeve and pulled me around the corner of the elevator, and he said, what have you been doing? And I said, I told you I had an appointment. And he said, yeah, but he said, I've been blowing up your phone and calling you, and you're not answering. And he said, that's not you. He said, you have students, you're on it. He said, even if there was something big going on, he said, you always answer or text or call. He said, so what's going on? And he said, why do you look like you've been crying? And I said, well, Mike, I'm pregnant. And he went, what? I said, it's not funny. It's not funny. And he goes, no. We're not laughing. We're not laughing. He said, are you sure? I said, I've already asked those questions. I've already been through all of that. And he said, okay. We're going to go down and get something to eat, right? We're still eating? And I said, I guess. We didn't eat. We didn't eat. We ordered food and sit there looking around like we didn't know what was going on. We didn't eat. But, um, it was very nerve-wracking for a little bit, just for the fact that I was told I wasn't going to be able to do that anymore. Just for the fact that 24 years ago, I was diagnosed with MS. And the medication I take, they said, you don't have to worry about any of that anymore. I said, it's good, because I'm done. Evidently not. Evidently not. And it was such a shock. And we just sit there in total silence, and him keep asking me if I'm okay. Are you okay? You're awful quiet. Are you okay? Yeah. They said I am. All this is normal. So, everybody knew I was having some issues, some symptoms, and my youngest son comes home. Of course, my husband wanted to be there. Wanted to be there to make sure that he was there when the baby, who's 18 and a half, was told. And when he come up the steps, and he looked at me. He said, my son, he goes, you doing okay? You're doing okay? And I said, yeah. And he goes, is it the MS? Is there something wrong? And I said, no. And he said, what is it? And I said, well, I'm pregnant. He looked at me and he goes, stop. And I said, no, seriously. Seriously. I said, the test is downstairs in a baggie. Don't take it out, because I peed on that. But it's down on the table. And he just stood there looking at me like, because I'm always joking with him and telling him stories. And he went down and come back up. His head was blood red. Ears looked like they were about ready to catch on fire. And he said, are you kidding? Are you kidding? And I said, no. I said, I asked the same thing. I thought I was on a hidden camera show. And he goes, what? And I said, yeah, I did all the same things you're doing right now. And he said, I'm about to go in my room and think about this. I said, okay, whatever. And he went down. He was heading towards his room. And he turned back around and he said, I have a question. He said, was I home when this happened? I went, oh my gosh. We didn't know. And actually, I was told I was 6 weeks, and we didn't know that. And it was a life-changing day, is what it was. And of course, my youngest took it personally. He took it very personally, because he had been the baby for 18 and a half years. He had manipulated his brothers. He had worked the system. He was in that baby bubble. No one touches him. No one, he gets pretty much whatever he needs or thinks he needs. And someone's getting ready to move into his territory. And of course, he wanted to know if he was home when this happened. I just told him, get out of my office, quit talking to me about that. Of course, my husband flipped around and said, well, yeah, it was in your room. I told him, I said, don't tell him those kind of things, because he may burn down the house. Because as you know, kids do not want to know that their parents are able to have children. I'm not sure how they think they get here. I mean, they know so much about having child rearing and having kids, but there's no way that their mom and dad did that. There's no way that they got here by those means. But I will tell you that my mom used to always tell me that, and my brother, that we were pooped on a stump and hatched by the sun. And we told the kids that for a while until I started catching on. I mean, we were actually pretty honest with them. We told them everything before they had sex education in school. And then they sit around looking at us saying, "Are you kidding? You know about that?" I said, "Oh my gosh, how do you think you got here? This is just part of life, guys. We can deal with this." Long story short, the jealousy and the being offended because of getting ready to lose his title slowly diminished. Slowly diminished. Because the was baby named the new baby. And they're best buddies. And it is just amazing how all that changed. So for anyone who did not know, I have a 2-year-old that makes number 4. 4 boys. 4 boys, and that's my husband's fault because he's a deciding factor. And I thought, well, maybe God is going to give me a girl. Well, that'd be great if my husband actually made girls. He does not. So, 4 boys. I will catch you tomorrow. Have a great day.